Denver parents and teachers are steaming this week for a variety of reasons. Some classroom temperatures have hit over 90 degrees in past days at 60 Denver public schools that do not currently have air conditioning. Denver Public Schools estimate it would cost $200 million, that's million with an M, to install AC in those schools. Erica, you are bureau chief at Chalk Beat, Colorado, so you know this inside and out. What are the issues around this that we need to know?
Well, this has been an issue for years, and what it really comes down to is we have a lot of older buildings. Denver voters approved bond money in 2012 and again in 2016 to do cooling projects in schools. They've put AC in 19 schools, but there's still 60 without it. And we have teachers reporting inside temperatures in the high 80s and low 90s, kids passing out, kids with bloody noses, not exactly a great learning environment. But as you said, the price tag to get all of these schools is quite high, and they may ask voters for some more money in 2020.
Michael, education funding overall, whether it be capital or teacher pay or anything in the middle, is always tricky. And we talked about before the show, that pie of education funding, there's a lot of folks with sharp knives wanting their piece. This is a big issue, but there's a lot of different angles to it between calendar and which schools are older and which populations are being affected that way. How do you think this bears out for DPS?
Well, I think they need to fix it and make an adjustment here. As a former teacher, I know that kids have a hard time learning if it's 90 degrees in that room. It's hard enough to get them to learn anyway, but when the temperature's like that, it's not happening. But I wanted to see if anybody wanted to bet me that the central office at DPS probably has has air conditioning that works pretty well. So I think the kids deserve to have this. You know, I worked at a charter school that had some of the lowest funding in the state, and we had air conditioning. We made it a priority to do it. And I think to your point, education funding, people want it in the classroom and they want it to go to teachers. And here in Colorado, only 54% of the money we spend on education goes to instruction. Next door in Nebraska, it's 65%. So that's a lot of money there that is going to administration, going to our pension fund. Healthcare costs are high across the country, but we need to find ways to get this to benefit students and benefit teachers with the money that we currently have.
Marie, as you look at this and the variety of folks involved, and again, it being a complicated issue, is this something that the administration needs to go to the voters immediately? Do they need to work within their own system? Do they need to turn off their own AC at the central administration building to in a point of unity? Where should DPS administration go first?
Yeah, I wish there was an obvious answer. There's an obvious problem that kids cannot be in these classrooms. If it was 90 degrees in this studio, I don't think a single one of us could give you an answer. So how can we expect kids to be in a classroom learning when temperatures are like that? So obvious problem, we know they can't be there. I wish there was an obvious solution. $200 million is a lot of money. We could do a lot with that in our schools. I think it's up to our leaders to put together a couple solutions and maybe take it to voters and say, which one do you like best?
Patty, you've known DPS for a long time. Where do you think they're going to go with this?
Maybe they need to move schools back, opening a little later, which is one of the reasons you didn't need to use air conditioning when school started after Labor Day. Smoke more pot, buy more pot, because some of that money goes to the construction budgets. And if Denver applies, and Denver hasn't applied for all the money it could have from the state, but that is just a drop in the bucket. I think it makes more sense for DPS to really look at their budget, look at options before going again to the voters on this one.